Yeah, I mean, the big thing that's happened this week, I suppose, has been Nintendo screwing emulation for everybody, which is interesting, I suppose. Because lots of people have some very strong opinions about this. Top Hat Gamer Man has also released a video already about this. So everybody knows his opinions, because they're strong. And probably the opposite to everybody else's, because as we all know, he is a contrarian, no matter how much he refuses to believe that fact. But I suppose that we've got some opinions on emulation as well. I mean, I know that Ryan, you've got an awesome setup at home, and it's pretty much all based around emulation.
Yeah, well, technically it's not emulation anymore because I use EverDrives, and it's not emulation because you're using the actual hardware.
Okay.
But I've got tons of hard drives of obviously all the ROMs and stuff. Yeah. But my opinion of it now is that those consoles are not available to buy, are they? So what's the harm in using these? It's not like I can go out and buy a Sega Mega Drive game from Argos, is it? Yeah. So it'd be different if a Mega Drive was a new console and everyone was downloading all the games just willy-nilly. But I think it's a dumb thing to really borrow. But to be fair, I'm sure in the past, Emu Paradise and all the ROM nations have been taken down and come back up, taken down, come back up. And the problem is, if they go down and they go down for good, they'll just come back. Well, they already are still on torrents because so many people, even like me, have got them. People are just going to still share them. They're still going to be available, so it's not necessarily the death of it. I think the ease of it is good. If you want a ROM, you just go.
If you want something specific,
yeah. I mean, I'd be more concerned about because I don't have as many ISOs of the PlayStation 1 and 2 games.
Yeah.
So if they're gone as well, then obviously that's probably an issue. But you can literally torrent most of them, still. But that's my opinion of it. Is they'll come, even on the dark web. They'll be there. Yeah. They're never going to vanish.
What about yourself?
I have no problem with emulation involved in games, just for the simple fact is, whilst I understand what they're saying is, look, we kind of put out Sonic, and we kind of put out, they do own Sonic, so yeah, they kind of put out Sonic, and they put out Mario in these intermittent classic kind of collections, and on their virtual console, and what they're saying is, look, we can still make money with this, and that's a fair point, I guess, but the vast majority of those almost 1,000 game libraries on those sorts of systems, they're never going to release those games again. Yeah. No one's going to ever make any money with those games again. So at what point does it become like abandonware and it's free for anyone to...
There's the other thing, as you were saying about, obviously, that they can still make money on, if you PS4 shop, buy Sonic and whatever. The difference is, if you can, I would still, even if, I've got a setup I've got a PC with tons of emulation, Atari, everything, and I've also got actual consoles with EverDrives, but... If I was playing my PS4 and Sonic was on there for a $5, I'd still buy it anyway because it's just the sake of playing it on there is easier. Yeah. So it's not like it's going to be taken away from... Not a lot of people even do emulation. Some people hate it anyway. Yeah, so
that's true.
It's not even a bit...
But there's a lot of Raspberry Pi fans out there that would like to tell you that you're wrong because the Raspberry Pi is the only way to emulate... it's not. It's terrible. But
you can just plug it in a PC and you can buy like a PlayStation controller with a USB adapter.
Yeah.
So it makes no difference how you do it. You can emulate on you can play NES on PS1. You can play SNES on Wii. You can pretty much do it any way you want.
You can play Doom on a calculator.
You can play Doom on a calculator. Yeah, you can.
Exactly. My point. Isn't
it? The reason I think that they've gone so hard on, like Nintendo have gone out of their way to, at this time, try and crack down on emulation.
So, sorry, have they just taken down... I haven't been on the site. Have they just taken down the Nintendo section, or have they just... everything?
Well, what's happened is they've opened up lawsuits on
the site.
Some of the smaller emulation channels, or on emulation sites. Where you can get your ROMs and stuff. And as soon as they've done that, they've kind of gone, right, okay, we're panicking. We don't want to get screwed, because obviously these lawsuits are now kind of coming thick and fast. So they've taken them down before they've got prosecuted.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what's happened, which then the guys have shut down their entire sites, which means the entire library is now not accessible.
But it's still out there.
It's still out there, and all the ROMs still exist. Loads of people have got copies of everything. Yeah. So, it will happen again eventually. But specifically, Nintendo have gone after these sites, and there's a reason why. There has to be a reason why now is the chosen time. And the reason that I think that is because Nintendo is about to release their first online subscription service. Did you know this?
No, I didn't hear that.
On the Switch, Nintendo Online has always been free, hasn't it? If you want to play Mario Kart online, you don't have to pay for it.
Right.
It's always been free, but now they've actually said at the end of this year they are going to be releasing a service for online for the Nintendo Switch, okay, which is a paid-for service. Part of that paid-for service is access to old Nintendo titles.
Right, are they doing it in the same way that Xbox rolled them out and PlayStation?
Kind of like, yeah.
How's that going to impact?
I think it's going to be somewhere between like Games with Gold that Xbox does and Game Pass.
Yeah.
But you're saying so they're opening up a paid service, so you're paying to play
games online,
Switch games online.
But with that, the further incentive,
you get access to the other games.
You get access to an old library.
But
if the old library is all free, that stops becoming an incentive point blank for a lot of people. So they won't do it. And it's not the fact...
but you're going to pay for online. If you're into the Switch, you're going to... Like, if the PlayStation... I mean, I play PlayStation Online sometimes, so I'm always going to have it. I don't play it that often, but I always pay for it just so I've got it.
Yeah.
If they had old PlayStation 1 games on there, that'd be a bonus. And if I can get a chip to play, or have a chip PlayStation, I can download any game I want. Yeah. But of ease of playing it on there, I'd still pay for the subscription anyway.
Yeah,
I mean, I guess everyone's different.
But I think Nintendo works slightly differently. Basically, what they want is they want there to be no reason to not have it. Well, so even if you don't want to play games online, people are sitting there and they're thinking, actually, I really want this game, and actually, it's free. So they just want to eliminate that. And in future, you're going to have kids that are growing up now that probably haven't got expensive computers and they've got all of their ROMs downloaded and everything else. Yeah. And that will be their only way then of accessing a lot of this content.
I actually would not buy Switch Online.
Specifically because they've
screwed the ROMs out.
Yeah, so basically it's a bad idea what they've done. For the simple fact is it breeds ill will in the gaming community.
It does.
When what they're doing is they're like, look, we're launching this subscription service. It's going to be like Game Pass. It's going to be our computer game Netflix style for Nintendo shit. Sorry, but for that sort of thing. And the problem that they have is they're thinking that, oh well, if it's available for free, we're not going to make any money from this. There's not going to be enough people doing it. Well, the result, like all the evidence clearly indicates that that's not the case.
Yeah.
Netflix makes a ton of money. Well, it doesn't, but it has a ton of subscribers. Even though everything that you watch on Netflix is available for free on the internet to stream elsewhere, doesn't matter if it's a Netflix original or not. They run it successfully. HBO run it successfully. Xbox Game Pass is doing fine. The PlayStation don't really have that, but they have their online service. It isn't quite the same. They do all fine numbers, and their stuff is even more limited in its availability. Like, its exclusivity is even more limited than it is on, like, say, Netflix for their own stuff, because you can't play that on non-Nintendo consoles other than these emulators. So they've already got the market corner. They just need to not breed the ill will.
Well, surely the younger generation of people aren't going to necessarily know about emulation anyway, and they're the ones that are going to be buying more Switch Online, accessing the games and finding out about the games, where people like us, who know about emulation, that's not going to be from my opinion, there'll be no incentive for me to get Switch Online purely to play.
Yeah, but if they can shut them down, I mean, I think what they're looking at is if they can shut them down now, then they might shut them down for good.
Nah, never.
They won't.
It's like,
but that's going to be their thought process.
I'm not being funny. If they forgive me for being rude, but if they can't shut down drug sites, dodgy porn sites for underage girls and guns, they're not going to shut down ROM sites from the internet. Simple as. You can't ban you can't ban the internet for anything. Everything is accessible and it always will be.
It makes a lot of sense. I mean,
so I don't think people should even worry. You'll get ROMs if you want.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. If they're not, it might not be as easy as going on romnation.com or whatever and just download it. But you can get it. Get it.
Apparently, because I know you said you were worried about some, ISO Zone is still around.
Yeah, that's perfect.
So there's one for you, because I know you were saying the other day about, well, you actually said earlier on in the stream about PS1 ROMs.
Well, the difference is, I downloaded most of my ROMs from torrents because they come in massive packs, like zip folders of like 10 gig of Sega games, and they're only like, you can pretty much, I think like the Mega Drive and SNES libraries are only like 5 gig or something like that, so it's fine, but obviously ISOs are massive, and I've only downloaded the games that I play, because my PlayStation 1s are modded, so I only download, if I want to play a game, download it, put it in a case, and I do like that. I haven't got time to just go through and download every single game, which I would like to do, but if you downloaded them all, it'd be fucking hundreds of gigs upon gigs.
That makes sense. So I've got a few people chatting now. Michael Richardson is here. Says, fuck Nintendo, nothing wrong with emulation. I suppose, there is nothing wrong with it.
There is really. It's a massive breach of copyright, but it's not the point, is it?
Fair use.
Yeah. Well, apparently you're only, everyone knows this, I'm sure, but you're only technically supposed to emulate if you own that game.
Yeah.
That's the only legal way to do
Well,
it.
I think even so, they don't. It's still legal.
It says it on
it's
there.
still a legal grey area.
It's the same as playing backups of like DVDs. You're allowed to back them up on your PC and watch them over a stream on your house if you own that DVD.
Yeah.
They're the grey areas.
Yeah. I don't think it's completely like
all the time.
it's fine to do it, but I think it's grey. It's grey enough where it's not.
But like I said, no one cares anymore. These consoles aren't available. Games aren't available. There's no harm.
So Lions News says Emu Paradise has stopped hosting any ROMs and ISOs at all. ISO's only still strong, but Emu Paradise forums and stuff still stand. Lots of people are angry at Nintendo about this, so I think that's fair. So, has Nintendo successfully killed emulation? Let us know your opinion in the comment section. This was a clip taken from one of our YouTube live streams. They occur at 8 PM UK time every Saturday. I'd like to give a huge shout out to Ben Sainty and Michael Keneally, as well as all of our other patrons. You help keep this channel going. We appreciate your support. And if anybody else would like to donate to this channel, there is a link in our description.